Good morning. This is the OHSU Effect Inside Health and Science. I'm Lacey Evans. A new trend, especially among teenagers, is the abuse of prescription pills. Often kids find prescription painkillers in their parents' bathroom and use them to get high. So we wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about prescription medication safety. With me now on the OHSU Effect is Mike Brownlee, Director of Pharmacy Services at OHSU. Good morning.
Hi, Lacey.
So let's kind of start at the beginning. What is the role of a pharmacist? I mean, you're just not handing out pills, right?
Right. That is an important aspect of what pharmacists do. Distributing meds safely is definitely one of the things that a pharmacist has a role in, but we also have an active role in working with the medical team, making sure that the appropriate medications are given to our patients and reviewing of all their medications for drug-drug interactions, allergy interactions, coordinating their care to make sure that they have the right insurance so that they can receive their medications. It's also important that you get your medication, not that you have it prescribed for you. So the pharmacist plays a very active role in helping with medication safety and working with the medical team.
Yeah, because as a patient, it does seem like there's quite a chain by the time I get my prescription. So you're just like a safety net, if you will, right?
Absolutely. The pharmacists are medication experts, and we're trained in we have more training than any other provider in medication use, and we're really there to serve as that safety net, the continuity for our patients for the medication use, as this isn't a very important piece of their healthcare. So,
what are some of the questions people should ask their pharmacist when they get a new medication, especially?
Right, that's a great question. Patients really should be active in their care and really understand what the medications are for. So understand the side effects. So ask the pharmacist about what to expect from this medication. What are the side effects? Are there any drug interactions? Are there any things that I could be doing from a diet perspective that might interact with my medications? Making sure that the pharmacist understands what your full medication list is really important. So there are a lot of things that you can ask that pharmacist that you may not feel comfortable asking your doctor about your medications as well. Because the pharmacist is going to have access to your whole medication list and be able to provide information for you about how to take medications. For example, if you have an inhaler, your shots, if you're taking insulin. So the pharmacist can serve in that role for you as a patient. So make sure that you're asking them any questions you have about your medications.
So that just sounds like another reason that we should get our prescriptions filled at the same place every time so that they're all in one place, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest dangers around shopping around pharmacies and hopping around to different pharmacies is that, that one central medication list is not there for the pharmacist to be able to evaluate for interactions and other problems between the meds that you're taking and even maybe what you're being treated for. So,
what are the biggest dangers when it comes to medication?
Well, some of the biggest dangers from a medication standpoint are interactions. So if the medications are not working together in your body in the way that they should, if you have allergies to medications, making sure that we understand what the allergies are so that you're getting the right medication or not taking a medication that you have an allergy to. From a safety perspective in your home, it's really important the storage of medications, how they're stored. If you have children in your home, that can be an unsafe thing for a small child to get into your medications. So safety means a lot of different things when it comes to medications, and so hopefully that helps with that piece of it. So.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the interactions, and a lot of times we think, well, shouldn't our doctors know if this is the right drug for us? But sometimes we see so many different doctors,
Right.
They can't keep track of all that.
Right. It's hard to keep the coordination of that care together, and the pharmacist plays a good role, an active role in making sure that all your medications work well together.
Well, let's expand also on the second part of that, keeping your medication safe at home. What should people be doing?
So especially in a home with children, making sure that your child safety caps are on and not flipping the lid over or leaving it open. It only takes a split second for a child to get into your medications and get a hold of something that can be dangerous to them. Medications should really be stored in a cool, dry area, so usually the bathroom is not the best place for them. So when you think about, the warmth and the moisture, and that has an impact on medications in a bathroom. So also keeping them high and out of the way of your toddlers and kids is important, and appropriately disposing of medications when they need to be disposed of.
Why is it so important that you not use another person's prescriptions?
It's very important to not use someone else's prescription, even if it might look like someone else's medication. That can be very dangerous for you. It might interact with other medications you're taking. It might not be the right medication for your specific disease state. So it's important to not, even though you might think it's the right thing to do, always check with a pharmacist or your physician or your nurse to help you understand what that medication's for. So it can cause many bad effects if you take someone else's medications.
And we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, teenagers especially abusing prescription drugs. Right. What can people do to prevent that?
So one of the reasons that this abuse happens in the home is that these meds are left in your cabinets for years on end. And, really once you're done with that medication therapy, disposing of it properly so that it's not there as a temptation. And also educating your children, too, about medications. And it needs to be done under the supervision of an adult or a pharmacist or a physician, because many times it's just because of a lack of knowledge. They don't understand that, they think they can get high, but in all reality, it could lead to their death. So the education piece is really important, and I can't stress enough being active in your own care and being active in understanding what your children are doing and if they have questions about medications. But really, the temptation is that it's there. So making sure that if you're on active therapy, put it in a place where it's known what the quantity is and that you know where it is stored, and getting medications out of your house that you no longer need.
Well, let's talk about generics, because a lot of times they are cheaper. Are they just as good?
That's a great question. So it's actually regulated whether generics and brands are the same or not. So when a generic is substituted, it has the exact same rating, I should say, that it's going to work as well as the branded product. Now, each of those drugs have slight differences as far as what's used, kind of the filler maybe in the tablet. So sometimes people have different reactions to that, but in general, generics are safe. They're just as effective, and it's a cost-effective way for treatment.
And you mentioned how keeping the medication in a bathroom can change kind of its effects. Right. What if it's expired?
So the expiration of medications is always a constant concern of our patients, and because the expiration date happened yesterday, doesn't mean that today it's not something that you can take. But as over time, drugs will decrease in potency. There are specific medications that are worse than others, like nitroglycerin and aspirin and insulin, that we need to make sure that you don't exceed that expiration date. But that expiration date should be an indicator for you that you need to get that out of your house and get a new prescription. Getting back to the point about abuse of prescription medications by kids and others, that it's good to clean house and get your medications out so you can get some new ones. So. Well,
let's talk about that, because there's this big push now, prescription drop-off sites.
Right.
How should people dispose of their prescriptions?
That's a great question. The DEA sponsors drug take-back events, and we just had one at OHSU recently that was very successful in taking back medications. Those don't happen very frequently. You can't take them back to your pharmacy. It's actually illegal for us to take prescriptions back at pharmacies, so don't take them back to your pharmacy. What you can do at your home is get a plastic bag, fill it full of coffee grounds, and then put your medications in that, zip it shut, Ziploc bag, and then put that in your trash. So I don't recommend flushing them down the toilet. I know there are a lot of concerns about our water and prescription drugs in our streams, and so putting them in something that's not desirable, like coffee grounds or kitty litter, creates an environment where your kids don't know that it's medications, or as people go through the trash. So that's the most effective way to get rid of your medications at home if there isn't a drug take-back event that's coming up soon.
And a lot of police stations now just have a box there all the time, 24/7, so
right.
You don't have to wait for an event. You can just go down.
That's an effective way as well.
Mike Brownlee, Director of Pharmacy Services at OHSU. Great information. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And don't forget, we offer the OHSU Effect as podcasts on our website. It's at kxl.com, and just find the OHSU page. Coming up at 8:35, we'll talk to an expert on bullying who has some sad and startling statistics about suicide among kids. This is the OHSU Effect on FM News 101.